Behold the 72 demons of Solomon. Meet Amon, number 7 out of 72. They say, he walks between love and hatred, between reconciliation and ruin. Amon is not the demon of simple anger or romance. He is the spirit of what happens when those two collide. In the Ars Goetia, Amon is named as a Marquis of Hell, commanding 40 legions of spirits. His appearance is wrong. At first, he is said to appear as a wolf, with the tail of a serpent, vomiting flames from his mouth, a creature of hunger, fire, and poison all fused together. But when commanded, he takes on a more human shape. A man with the head of a raven and sharp dog-like teeth, eyes like dark coals, voice like a distant echo in a ruined church. Wolf, serpent, raven, dog, predator of the ground, poison of the underworld, scavenger of the sky, fangs that tear. Amon is a collage of things that hunt, things that wait, things that feed on what's already broken. He is not a clean, noble demon. He is messy, stitched from impulses, just like the emotions he rules. Because Amon's domain is not money, disease, or knowledge, Amon rules over the heart at war with itself. Old grimoires say he has power to reconcile friends and enemies, to stir up love, to sow discord, and to reveal the past and future. At first glance, that sounds contradictory. How can the same spirit bring peace and conflict? How can the same demon reconcile enemies and also start fights? But if you look closely at human relationships, it makes sense. The same emotion that can create the deepest love, when twisted, creates the deepest hatred. The person who knows you best can become the one who knows exactly where to strike. Amon is the demon of connections that are too strong, strong enough to bind, strong enough to strangle. Imagine a couple who have loved each other for years. They know every weakness, every wound, every memory that can bring a smile or open a scar. In the beginning, that knowledge is healing. But when trust breaks and resentment starts to drip in, all that intimacy becomes a weapon. I know who you are. I know what you fear. I know what to say to destroy you. That moment when love turns into sharpened cruelty, that's where Amon breathes. He doesn't create love. He doesn't create hate. He twists what's already there. His name, in some occult traditions, is linked to ancient gods of storms and hidden power. Echoes of Amon, Amon, Hammon appear in old texts, often tied to unseen forces that move in the background of human life. Whether or not they are truly related, Amon in demonology keeps that same flavor, an unseen pressure behind what you feel. The storm you think is just your mood. You could say, if King Paimon is the architect of control over minds, Amon is the architect of emotional spirals. He knows how one word, placed at the right moment, can rip open a decade of pain. In the infernal hierarchy, if you were to step into Amon's realm, you would not find a throne room of flames. You would find something that looks disturbingly familiar. Imagine a landscape made of broken memories, fragments of rooms, kitchens where couples screamed at midnight, corridors where someone waited for an apology that never came, doorways where one person walked out and never walked back in. These scenes are frozen in pieces, suspended in the air like shards of glass. Voices echo through them, snippets of fights, confessions. Please, final words, don't you dare leave. I never want to see you again. Please, just listen. It's over. Through this ruined gallery walks Amon, sometimes in the shape of the wolf serpent, padding silently through the dust, fire dripping from his jaws. Sometimes as the raven-headed man, claws trailing on the ground, head tilted as if listening to voices only he can hear. He rearranges these fragments, turning some toward each other, pushing others farther apart, because that is his work, to move emotions between love and hatred, between distance and reunion, not for healing, for experiment. In the human world, his influence appears in two main ways. First, in relationships that refuse to die cleanly. Two people break up, they hurt each other. They swear it's over, but they keep circling back, not because it's healthy, not because they've grown, but because the bond is twisted, fused with obsession, guilt, fear of being alone. They block each other, unblock, reappear, vanish, fight, reconcile, and repeat the cycle. Each time they tell themselves, this time will be different. Each time it's not. In that looping spiral, Amon feeds. He is not the demon of first love. He is the demon of the love you cannot escape from, even when it's eating you alive. Second, in conflicts that seem to come out of nowhere, yet feel frighteningly precise. Old friends suddenly turn on each other over something small, and the argument explodes with years of built-up resentment. Families who never fight suddenly tear apart at a dinner because of one wrong phrase. A team at work, once united, fractures overnight under a cloud of suspicion and gossip no one can fully trace. Amon's power is to reveal, but not always gently. He reveals what was already simmering under the surface. Jealousies, unspoken injuries, unvoiced accusations. When he moves, the masks drop, and sometimes people see each other clearly for the first time, and they cannot stand what they see. But why then do the grimoires say he can also reconcile enemies? Because Amon understands the root of conflict. He knows where the connection began, what memory started it, what wound twisted it. He can drag those deeper truths to the surface. In some traditions, magicians call Amon precisely because he can show both sides of a bond. The love that was there, the hate that grew on top of it, and the point where one became other. That knowledge can be used to heal. It can also be used to manipulate. Reconciliation under Amon is rarely pure. Sometimes it is a fragile, painful truce based on the phrase, "We have both hurt each other enough." Sometimes it is simply a new version of the same bond, darker, more codependent, more afraid of letting go. Amon is not interested in happy endings. He is interested in intensity. Psychologically, you can see Amon as the spirit of emotional extremes, relationships that swing from "I love you" to "I hate you" in minutes, the obsession with knowing what an ex is doing, the urge to reopen old wounds just to check, the desire to reconcile not from health, but from panic at the emptiness without that person. He rules that part of the heart that would rather suffer drama than face silence. To some, he appears as the feeling that says, better a terrible connection than no connection at all. There is a reason his head is that of a raven in human form. Ravens are scavengers, but they are also intelligent. They remember faces. They hold grudges. They return to old places where they once found food. Amon's energy does the same inside human hearts. He brings back old scenes, old fights, old kisses, old betrayals. He makes you replay them again and again, sometimes so you can understand, sometimes just so you can bleed. A person under his shadow may find themselves unable to move on, even when everything rational says they should. They stalk old conversations, reread messages, revisit places where things happened, whisper, "What if?" to themselves until reality warps. He doesn't need to whisper words. He just needs to tilt the lens through which you see your own story. Yet, like every shadow, Amon carries a twisted kind of gift. He forces people to face the true nature of their attachments. With him around, you cannot hide behind easy labels. It was just passion. It was just a misunderstanding. I don't care anymore. He drags up the real reasons. You wanted to be needed. You were terrified of being alone. You enjoyed having power over them. You hated how much power they had over you. He can make this awareness unbearable. He can also make it impossible to ignore. For someone strong enough to look, that pain can turn into clarity. Why do I keep going back to what hurts me? Why do I only feel alive in conflict? Why does love feel like war? Those are Amon's questions. Answer them honestly, and you move out of his reach. Refuse, and you stay in his orbit, circling the same battlefield forever. In the end, Amon is not just a monster in an old book. He is the shape behind. Toxic relationships that never truly end, families that reconcile and explode, over and over, ex-lovers who swing between blocking each other and confessing at 3 a.m., friendships that turn into rivalries without ever really changing at the core. He is the demon of the bond that bites back, the love that bruises, the hate that still cares, the breakup that never fully breaks. You don't have to summon him in a circle. You summon him every time you say, "I know this is killing me, but I can't stay away." Somewhere, in a hall of broken scenes and echoing arguments, a raven-headed Marquis of Hell turns his head, listens and smiles. Because once your heart learns to crave the fire of conflict more than the calm of peace, you will come back to that same battlefield again and again, even if you swear you're done. And if Amon has his way, you will call it love.